What's poppin', guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, appreciate you for stopping by. If you're a returning watcher, then thank you for returning. And right now, we're here to do a reaction video with my good brother Soul here. This time, our reaction video comes from Flame of Rebirth on Bleach, and some concerns that he had specifically for the series as a whole. Also, not just concerns, because everyone on the internet complains, but thankfully, this amazing Bleach tuber has decided to give us some solutions, along with his justified concerns for the series. So we'll be reacting to that and having a brief discussion afterwards. Let's get it.
Trying to build here is that even though the world is said to be big, there's so little information about it that it ends up feeling empty, and more importantly, it feels like in between the battles that happen, the characters just exist. It's like they're just sitting in rooms, staring blankly into space. There are characters who grew up in the Rukon district, who witnessed how absolutely terrible the life there was, became Shinigami, rose to the ranks of seated officers, vice captains, and sometimes even captains, and pretend like there aren't atrocities happening in the Rukon district. Rukia and Renji, for example. Life there was so bad that they lost every single friend they had. And they became vice captains, and Rukia herself became a captain and proceeded to not care about how bad things are in the Rukon district. You might say, well, you don't know that Rukia doesn't actually care. Exactly. I don't know, because Kubo never tells you, or shows you. It's just left unaddressed. Rukon district members were shown to be afraid of the Shinigami, afraid of those meant to protect them. And you have people who grew up there become Soyipers and not feel inclined to change a single thing. Do you want to know why that is? It's because the world doesn't actually exist. It's there in name, it's there in principle, but it's not treated as though it were alive. It's not treated like it impacts the characters who live within it. And it makes Rukia and Renji just look so bad. Think about this. Chad, Ichigo, Rukia, nobody cares. Nobody cares to help these people. Ichigo continues to perform consos and tell the people he's cleansing about their families on the other side, even though he damn well knows they're going to be put with a new family. Why? Because they're not treated as though they were real. Kubo doesn't treat them like they actually matter. Because the rest of the Soul Society is never explored, because the Rukon district is treated like it doesn't actually matter, because the Serite is the only Soul Society-based location that actually matters, the totality of an entire world gets compressed into a single city that houses all the Shinigami-based characters. They all live here. Do you know the effect that has? It makes Bleach feel super condensed and tightly packed. It's claustrophobic. You have a massive cast of characters who all live in this one location, and the one location they live in makes it seem like there's almost nothing else to do beyond the bare minimum. The world is stagnant. There's no movement until the next big bad appears. And that's never been good, guys. That's never been good. If Luffy is in Wano and in deep trouble and about to be killed by Kaido, no one is seriously going to question where Sabo is. Do you want to know why? It's because Sabo is actually somewhere else, doing something else. Because the world of One Piece is so big, and stuff is actually happening in it, that he's actually caught up doing other things. And you're not going to know about it until the news reaches you. If an enemy shows up in the Serite and attacks Shinsu Kyoraku, we're all going to ask similar questions. Where's Yushiro? Where's Kenpachi? Where's Toshiro? You know why? It's because it's all in the same city. Where else is Kenpachi going to be? What else is he going to do? What else do any of them have left to do? You got Byakuya standing in front of the photo of Hisana. That's all he freaking does. When one thing happens to one person in this location, it's forced to affect everyone. And Kubo is now forced to give them something meaningful to do. For Naruto, Sasuke goes to the village hidden in the clouds and tries to steal their Jinchuriki. No one watches that and thinks, well, wait a minute, where's Naruto? I don't know. Maybe he's in an entirely different country many days of travel away? Like, when your world is not just big but alive, you can spread your characters around and out, and then you can focus on a little bit of characters at a time without feeling cramped. This is one of Kubo's biggest problems. So when the Helllock rolls around, it immediately means that Kubo needs to find something for every single one of them to do. And you know what that does? It dilutes the concentration of what we're getting. Imagine if the Soul Society was actually as big as it's supposed to be. Imagine if it was actually as alive as it's meant to be. and the captains, along with their forces, are actually spread across the entire Soul Society, keeping the peace and not just crammed into one city. Imagine that. Kubo can now pick and choose who he needs and who he wants to use without having it be a logical gap in what the other characters are doing during that time. He gets to spread his wings and tactically choose when and where to use people. And this issue bleeds into the second major issue I have with Kubo and something that needs to be fixed: Bleach battles.
Okay. So, with that being the case, what did you think about that portion of his video?
Well, so far, the world building aspect, what I can agree on with him is wanting to see more of Bleach because, uh, as an example, the Substitute Shinigami arc, as we found out later that it was low key supposed to be a bit longer, and I know a lot of people wouldn't have necessarily went for that because they find that part boring. But give me one second. Give me one. Sorry about that. Had to relocate. All right, so what was I saying?
You were talking about the world building and how you would like to see more, and that the substitute Shinigami arc was supposed to be longer
That
than it
part.
really was.
There we go. Thank you. Yeah, that was what I was on. All right, so yeah, the Substitute Shinigami arc was supposed to be longer than what it actually was, and it was going to focus a lot more on the adventures of what goes on in Katakota Town. Um, I would have enjoyed that personally, which I was low key surprised. Maybe he didn't know about that because that is more of a fun fact kind of thing. But I do agree that it should have more content. Now, the exact content that he was going over in particular is where I would have to disagree. Um, it does feel a bit, how do I say this? It feels a bit what's the word? Kind of help me out, bro. Yeah, I'm trying to come up with a good word for like how his video it didn't really hit the note that it needed to hit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a few of his points, and once again, guys, this is not any hate. This is just us, talking about his topics and his points. But I felt like that in general just felt outdated. I felt like it was kind of contrived. Like it's similar to like being in the beginning of the story and then being like, "Oh, I don't know. We never learned anything about his dad." It's like, "Well, have you finished it?" It's like, "No, I haven't." It's like, "Then you have to finish it." Like that's the vibe it gives me.
Okay, yeah, 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 and like that was the word. It did feel a bit outdated. Is what it was. So for starters, like you said, we already know what the three main realms are with the subsettings of the Quincy's and all that good stuff. Then we have the hollow activity in the world of the living outside of Katakota Town. Honestly, I wouldn't even say that it doesn't matter because I mean it's a world event. So in some way, shape, or form, it would technically matter. But in the grand sense of the story and who he's portraying it around, it does not matter. And ultimately, even if we did take just the main cast out of it and just say, let's say he wanted to see how the hollow activity is or how the people would learn how to cope with dealing with hollows, it wouldn't be too often in the first place. Like, that's like saying, "Hey, I wonder how a lion would fare in Antarctica getting food." It's like you they are attracted as like you said, they're spirit beings that are attracted there from the buildup of reishi in the area it's concentrated. So that's what attracts them in the first place, and that's also how they feed. So if that's how they feed, then it has to have high concentration. Like they just wouldn't be found in that type of habitat with lacking spirit energy.
Exactly. I was just about to say that they wouldn't be like. There's no point in them being in other areas if this is the highest concentration. You know what I mean? Like, and quite honestly, like, it doesn't really do much to the story, anyways, if we know, where other hollows are. I mean, I don't think it matters. I don't really care about that, if I'm being honest. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
one thing that I was thinking about was that, well, not one thing I was thinking about. One thing I wanted to talk about was when he said that, what are they doing just sitting in their barracks and staring at a blank wall? I don't know if that really made sense because, like, we know they do paperwork. You know what I
Right.
mean? We know there's stores out there. We know, like, Renji, the head protector that he had in the beginning of the series, he got that from a store that sells like sunglasses and, and like stuff like that. Like, they have stuff out there that is genuinely like part of the world. Like, they're not just, staring at a wall. They're enjoying their life. You know what I
One of
mean?
my yeah, and one of my favorites, the Women's Soul Reaper Association, like that whole thing. That's the thing. Like they actually do meetings and stuff outside of battle, and like ideas, and they brainstorm on how to make the Seirete better. And I'm pretty sure if they, do get something that everybody agrees on, then everybody's gonna get it. But and initially, it's not gonna be an everybody thing.
I mean, also, like, think of it this way: what else do you want a military organization to be doing on their downtime? They're gonna be training.
That is true. That's
They're,
fair.
they're gonna be trying to polish up their skills. They're gonna be resting. These are just like basic things that people are going to be doing. I mean, look at the military now, right?
Mm,
They're not just constantly like going to civilians and helping them out. You know what I mean? They're not coming out to the towns and being like, "Hey, what do you guys need?" Like, no, why? So if in real life they don't do that, why are we expecting the Gote 13, who were literally in the beginning of the series, they were just a bunch of killers. That's all they consisted of.
yep,
That's
yep.
all they consisted of. So why are we expecting them to be doing something that humans in the real world don't even do? Like,
Right.
I'm confused. Like, and on top of that,
That was well said.
yeah, like on top of that, I mean, look at Burn the Witch, right?
Mhm.
What does life look like outside of the Serete? Well, you have Wingbind to look at that. You have the West
Yes,
Branch to
sir.
look at that. What happened when you know, Balgo was, carrying Osushi, and flying, right? He was going into town and people were just enjoying their regular lives. They were eating, they were drinking, they were, building like a chimney and making sure everything was good. Like, this isn't anything that, like, it. Why would it be any different anywhere else? Like,
Right.
of course they're gonna be doing something. Of course they're not just staring at a wall. Like, if you're the military force, you have to make sure you're always good to go, and you have to practice. You have to be in your bag and learn new things. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was a bit of a weak point to make for it on his side. Like, I get what he's going for, but it's already been shown in the anime like what they do.
I was gonna say, especially with after the time skip, like the Lost Agent arc, bro, I swear, it doesn't matter if somebody watches it or just doesn't like it. I feel like what happens truly during that arc gets undermined. Like, we know for a fact that they were training. We know for a fact that they were training. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had a new look, a new, new power up. They wouldn't have got stronger. They would still had the same, Ryatsu level as back in Soul Society, maybe even Rankar. Like it wasn't how you know that the world is constantly moving is the characters once they have more, I'll say, well, for one, more drip because you can tell when a character upgrade they drip. Um,
Exactly. Because by the way, there's shops in the Soul Society. There's shops where you can get clothes and, royal families, they have people that make their own clothes for their people. So come on. Come on.
yeah, yeah, and I know this was a little mini tid section of it though, but the treating the Rukon district residents like they don't matter.
Yeah.
While yes, there are tragedies and atrocities that happen in the Rukon district, no one is denying that at all. But we're not gonna act like there aren't any ever times where that aren't seen that they don't care. Like we get shown that there are soul reapers out here, seated and not seated, that do care about the children of Rukon district and even just the citizens. Period.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I think you mentioned who was
What?
Kisuke.
Yeah, Keyscan turned back the pendulum. He was
Mhm.
playing Beyblades with kids.
Yes,
You know what I
sir.
mean? Like, so it's not like they don't matter. I don't like that phrasing.
Yeah.
I don't like that he worded it like that.
Understood the message, but the delivery was a bit it was a bit too harsh for it to be accurate.
Yeah, like, and once again, guys, like, we only talk like this because we're passionate about Bleach, and there's other series out there that I totally get it. When people critique it, that's totally fine. But I just think that for Bleach personally, I get a bit more, I guess, defensive about it when people try to do critiques. I just think that if you're gonna do a critique, at least let it be valid. You know what I mean? Let it be, you know, um, factual. Like for me, I gotta be honest. This feels outdated, like an outdated video. You know?
I wanna kinda just give a little bit more on how that statement, like, resonates with me, and, like, honestly, it feels a bit outdated only because, yes, Rebirth did give examples. He gave examples on his points and his arguments and how his perspective even is, and I appreciate that. That's great. Like he did with the Naruto and One Piece example. While I might not necessarily agree with it, that's one of the best examples he could have gave because Bleach is one of their peers. And ultimately, I think it felt outdated because the questions that he was asking were they were very just early starting questions. Like they felt very like I just finished like the first couple arcs type of question. And it was like a blanketed concept for a story that is just it's not blanketed. Like the way Kubo's storytelling and his writing is, it's very I don't even want to say it's just niche. It's very intentional. So when he does write about certain things or when he does show things, obviously, I mean, of course, a writer writes with intention where I would hope so. But we can see that Kubo really doesn't put a whole lot of time into the things that ultimately is not going to progress the character itself. So that's why when you get into the world building aspect of One Piece or Naruto, and then you try to take that concept and how they, laid out that entire procedure and then use that same blueprint for Bleach, I don't think it would work out the same way. I don't think it would work well at all, actually. And it ultimately would end up having the same issues that One Piece and Naruto suffer from after they had their good world building.
One thing that he brought up was the parakeet situation, saying that they don't care and blah blah blah. But like, on screen you literally put Chad carrying this kid, like looking for his family. Like, I'm a little confused by that. Like, maybe that
Yeah.
was just saying like outside of Chad, no one else cares about him and like the other Rukongai people. But then later on, you get turned back to Pendulum once again with Kisuke paying Beyblade with the kids. So like,
Oh, and speaking of Beyblades, if I'm not mistaken, y'all can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but in the anime, the guy that was being sent to, figure out what was going on with Rukia back in the Substitute Shinigami arc, since, she lost her powers, he was also doing the same thing. Like, he had no other, like, grandiose plot reason as to why he was there in the Rukon district with those kids, but he was there, messing around and just, playing around, being a cool guy for the kids.
and I mean like that's a filler character, but even then, like he's showing anime clips, so clearly you're talking about the anime and the manga, right? Like, so
Yeah.
if you're talking about the anime, there's that scene of in the Soul Society arc when Rukia fell on the floor because she's now gaining spiritual powers, right? And he
Mm,
talked about like you need to eat because you're getting stronger and you need actual food for your body. You know what I
yep.
mean? Like it was that guy that kind of looked like Byakuya but wasn't Byakuya at the same time.
Yeah.
Like it was that whole situation, right? But but it's like you can't say that when there's multiple situations of people caring for those in the Rukongai. I mean, the list could honestly like low key keep going on. Um, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Jushiro in the Thousand Year Blood War, his backstory.
Mhm.
He was going around asking people to join the Gote 13. Like,
Oh yeah. Yep.
remember? Like, and then the guy tried picking on the grandma. The grandma punched him in the gut.
Oh,
Like,
bro.
so like, if you really want to talk about it, we can. But there's multiple moments of like, you know what I mean? Like, so what are we talking about? I'm a little confused.
Yeah, and I want to say maybe you were talking on a specific thing. I'll have to, correct me if I'm wrong. But when you said that, we know so little about the world, I I wouldn't say we know so little. I would just say it's given to us in such a fragmented form. It could feel like that. So I could understand why initially you might feel like the world is empty and, even though it's, very vast. But when you also mentioned how because they don't explore any other places, it feels condensed and claustrophobic, it kind of maybe it was again, I could be wrong, but when you said condensed and claustrophobic, it was the oxymoron. It's the opposite. It's the antithesis to what you said earlier about, you know, it feeling empty. And so I guess I'm trying to figure out which one it really is for him. So if like Rebirth, when you see this, definitely let me know in the comments. Or make a little quick reaction video to that too. That would be cool because I do want to know like which one is it really? Like, does it feel like a stagnated and empty world because you don't, get all of the exposition in giant, you know, bunches? Or is it one of those, all right, it feels super condensed and claustrophobic for you personally? Um, that was one thing I was curious about.
Yeah, there's a few other things too, but I could save that for the next part. I'm pretty sure it's gonna play into it because he talks about Naruto and One Piece, so mentioning the world building. So I'll just go ahead and continue and yeah, go from there.
All right, sounds good.
They have Zanpakutos, and Zanpakutos have abilities. And so every time a person uses their Zanpakuto in a fight, for however many fights that is, they'll use their ability. Renji has a Zanpakuto, it does a Bankai. So whenever Renji needs it in a fight, he'll use it. Simple. But after that baseline, after that basic requirement for any battle shonen, Kubo starts to do some weird stuff. For example, Byakuya fights against Renji, Ichigo, Zamari, Yami, Tsukushima, as Not and Gerard. In the entirety of the battles Byakuya fights, he uses Shuke Hakuteiken once against Ichigo, meaning you got to see him use his ultimate move one time. Now, is there a story reason Byakuya might not do that? Well, yeah. Renji was too weak, he defeated Zamari without it, his Bankai got stolen by As Not, and he used Senkai against Gerard, not Shuke Hakuteiken. I can reason and come up with logical options as to why Byakuya didn't do it. But from a fan's perspective, Kubo showed you a really cool move, and then proceeded to never show it to you again. I'll give you another example. Kenpachi Zaraki in his battle against Noitora used a two-handed swing because he needed that to win. You know how many times Kenpachi Zaraki tried to use a two-handed swing after that? I'll tell you, not even once. He was killed many times in his battle against Unohana, and did not try to use it even once. Against Gremmy and against Gerard, never tried it. Once again, Kubo showed you a really cool move, and then proceeded to never show it to you again. Third example.
I'm editing this video, and as I was going through the Kenpachi part, I just remembered that in the Thousand Year Blood War, Kenpachi actually fought against Stern Ritter Y, the one who's able to clone you and use a certain amount of your power. Now, in that scene in the Thousand Year Blood War anime, it shows Kenpachi using two-handed attacks against this guy the entire time. I'm not saying this just to say that he's wrong, but I'm just putting this in here because this is a moment that Kenpachi has used two-handed swords techniques before. Yeah, we didn't see it in the manga, but the anime definitely showed that, and I love that they did. Similar to the whole Uryu redemption section that he talks about with the fights that Uryu had in the Thousand Year Blood War anime. But other than that, let's go ahead and continue on with this video. Shuku Hakuteiken. What is that move doing against most people, bro? Be honest. It's not doing anything. It's him thrusting at you. They could easily sidestep that. What are we talking?
Like the only reason why he would be able to eat, or the only reason why he would use the move is if he knows for an absolute fact that the opponent that he's fighting is A, not only in the same tier of strength as him, but B, full, no take back sees. They are full and wholeheartedly going to go rush in at you for a final attack. That is the only way, those are the only two conditions that need to happen for him to use that move. And as he said, in all of the other fights that he just listed, those two conditions were not met. The Ichigo was the only person where that met both of those conditions.
Keep it a band. What happened when he put up all the swords against Ichigo the first time? He said, you are only the second person to have seen this." He said, "Well, that's an honor." So I'm pretty sure. Now I know a lot of people say like, "Oh, Koga's not canon." No, Koga's canon. Koga Kuchiki, he's canon. Like, if you're gonna say that, and then in Thousand Year Blood War show flashbacks of Byakuya versus Koga, the battle happened. So that means he's used Shuke Hakuteke against Koga. So technically that's twice. So I'm confused. Like, that's incorrect factually.
Yeah, even though I saw the clip, I didn't want to like, jump into that because I was like, yeah, that would make me feel like me personally. It would make me feel like I'm bashing it. So I was just like, I'll leave that one alone.
Uh,
Oh, I
Flame,
get it.
Flame, if you see this, bro, I'm not really, bashing you, bro. It's just I'm passionate. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get a collab with you, bro. So if you free, man, let me know. Let
Yeah,
me
man,
know.
don't bleach my fist.
Nah, for real though. I rock with Flame heavy. So when I see a video of his, I always check it out. And if you guys haven't, go check out Flame's other videos. They're really good. Really, really just in my personal opinion, I think they're very informative. And
Mm.
as all of us, we're only human. We don't always,
Yeah.
hit all the correct points all the time. So, have grace with him in the comments, guys.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. We're not sending hate anywhere.
yeah, there's no hate here, and yeah, I appreciate this video, to be honest. Like, I do think that the Hell arc does need to do some things that he's mentioning actually, um, and I really can't wait to see what Kubo does for that arc. So let's go ahead and continue, man.
Hmm. Yes, sir.
So that portion of the video, I thought it was fine. It wasn't too like
Yeah.
frustrating on my end personally. I think the only thing that I would say though is that bleach fights they are typically 1v1s. I think the Hell
Hmm.
arc needs to change that up. Just personally, I would. So for those who don't know, I actually love and I hate. So actually, let me just say, I actually hate the Hellverse movie. I do. I think it's trash. I think it's like
Yeah.
lame. The only cool parts that came from it was the Ukiura versus Ichigo reimagined. That whole fight. It was more, I guess, equal in terms of a fight. It was more equal for the both of them. Um, but later on, Renji, Rukia, Uryu, and Ichigo and Kokuto, they all fight against the other 4 or 5 guys, and it was like an all out battle,
Yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
like a battle royale, and I really loved
That free
that.
for all was nice.
Oh, it felt so hectic, but it felt so beautiful.
That that was low key why the Hellverse was my favorite personally. I know it wasn't really up to Kubo's standards, but I never viewed it as one of Kubo's work. I just viewed it as a standalone side project that they used to, just reel in some more cash flow. And when they did that, because we've been so used to the 1v1s, that was just another reason that made me like, oh, I'm here. Like,
I was there for it,
yeah.
like that. It
So
really
I So I would love if they did more like free for all type fights. Like that was matter of fact, that was another reason that attracted me to the Ray Guy arc, the Invasion Army arc. Because I love the way they did that opening. Like everybody was boxing, man. Like, oh
that a lot of people love. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't understand that. You know what I mean? I think
yeah.
Kubo could definitely benefit from doing more of that inside of the series. Specifically, I would say the Hell arc though, because when I think of the Hell arc, I just think of more chaos. I think of more like
Hmm.
uh I guess aggression, or like I don't know what the word
Yeah.
is, but I just think of more of that type of fighting style there because it's hell and it's crazy, and it's I
Yeah.
I think that would be the perfect thing for Kubo to do. Um
And you know what else it would do great for? Combinations, because Kubo has been doing more combinations with yeah, I mean, well, we already knew that Rangiku and Toshiro had their combinations, but we got to see more of that. We got to see Momo and Shinji do a little combination. Like I love to see them do combinations. It's just great.
um I know I've seen some people's takes on this, but I'll ask you just a quick one. But what do you think about the Hell
Mm.
arc getting a tournament arc?
Ugh, so yeah, I'm probably in a small group of people that don't want that to happen. Um, because don't get me wrong, like it would probably give, or not even probably, it would literally give Dark Tournament from Yu Yu Hakusho vibe. I'm pretty sure. Um, but do I want them to go through a game style like with a tournament? Not really. I don't. I mean, granted, I'm sure Kubo could make it great because all tournament arcs, for the most part, do great. Like they are always, but Do I want that? Not personally, no.
Especially for the Hell arc.
I also take pride in knowing that Bleach is one of the few battle shonens that just doesn't have a tournament arc, and it still does phenomenal.
Like, give Bleach a tournament arc. It just, I don't think it would necessarily fit. The only way, now this is the only way a Hell arc would work,
Mm.
is that if they had to do like a so you know how like the mouth of hell is now like opening, right? Let's say it
Hmm.
got closed or whatever, like open or closed, whatever, and it's a free for all. But the rules are whichever side loses or dies, the mouth opens and then everyone comes out, you know, all the hell people, or if, you know, the Soul Society wins, it closes once again. You know what I mean? Like,
Wait. Hold on. You mean like everybody in hell?
yeah, like because the way I see it, right? They said that the mouth of hell is now opening, and you know, basically people are kind of like spewing into the world of the living now because the mouth is just open. There's nothing to stop them from going out,
Right.
right? Well, we have to close that somehow. You know what I mean? And if there's multiple
Yeah,
mouths, you know, Xyloparo came through one, Kazui came through one, and then where do all the other big, you know, ghouls come from? They must have came from some sort of mouth somewhere.
bro. They didn't even show the mouth for the ghouls. They just were there. I'm like, hey, how did they even get that close?
And that's why I'm thinking, like, if they did decide to do a tournament arc somehow, some way, let's say, you could only go to hell if, well, I mean, number one, you're not gonna send like a rookie to hell to fight in a tournament. You're just not, right? So
Nah,
clearly, the Gote 13, only the big dogs are gonna be able to go. And then you know those that fight, you know, whoever wins, you win, you make it out alive or something. Like it has to be chaotic, just due to the fact the way that Kubo's doing it. You know what I mean? Like you're telling
right.
me that old characters are going to be popping back up. It has to be chaotic. You're telling me I'm gonna get. You're telling me I'm gonna get.
You gotta give us the same energy that you gave us with that 1,000 year flashback with Yamamoto on the first Gote 13. I want that energy.
Exactly. Like you're telling me we got Unohana, you know, the reveal of her being the first Kenpachi, and then you're telling me I'm gonna get a hell Unohana? Like, bro, you know she's gonna be on some crazy bat ish.
Yes,
You know what I
sir.
mean? Yeah, it's so I'm just curious on what your take was on that.
I'm glad you asked me that, man. I'm glad.
Yeah. All right, let's continue.
Okay.
Yeah, man. That's Flame of Rebirth's video, man. What'd you think about it?
I thought that he definitely put a good amount of energy and passion into it for sure. I could hear it in his voice. And that makes me happy to see. I do appreciate, and what I did enjoy about the video is him actually showing, like with manga panels, the visualization of anime clips and stuff like that, examples of what he's talking about. That helped a lot. And it also did trigger some, memories of other scenes that I would remember. Um, so the format of the video was structured very, s- very straightforward. It was very straightforward. It didn't beat around the bush, didn't make it super long-winded. So that was really good. Um, I, like I said, it's not a bashing video. It's just a differencing in, perspective and opinions. Um, But ultimately, I think that after we get the what was it? It was the you said you literally said the word earlier. It's not outdated. There we go. Once you get the outdated perspective lens from off of him, then I feel like he'll enjoy it a lot. All of his concerns will not be as upfront. Yeah. How about you? How'd you feel about it?
I enjoyed it. I always enjoy seeing Bleach content and seeing other people's, opinions on Bleach and their takes on it, because I feel like Bleach is able to compete with One Piece and Naruto in terms of like the conversations
Mm.
about the series. That's why I love it so much and I want to talk about it so much. I
Yeah.
get it. It's popular to just hate on Bleach and say it's not part of the big three, and it's only Dragon Ball, Naruto, and One Piece. And oh, like other manga series outsail Bleach. Okay, sure, I get it, but like they don't last as long as Bleach. Like I don't think anyone's really understanding that these series that come out, they're here today and gone tomorrow. Like One Piece,
And
Naruto,
that
Dragon Ball,
means
and huh?
I'm sorry. And I just also had to add, it's not just about how long they last, it's about the impact they have on the community.
No one's running around saying, "Oh, I got impacted by Demon Slayer, yo." Like, come on, man.
Unless that was your very first anime ever.
100%. Yeah, if that's the case, then I get it.
Yeah, if
Um,
it's a starter pack for you, then yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that's to
for
be
sure.
expected.
I like myself some Demon Slayer, but it's kind of
I mean,
eh.
it's all right. So
Hey, we need to make a video on some new gen animes, bro. Just like ones we love and
you know
ones we.
what? I will tell you too that I will start making videos on Doctor Stone and Frarian.
I got myself a Dr. Stone video, man, that I'm working on. So
Yes,
I
sir.
can't wait
Oh,
for
we
that.
need that.
I can't wait for that.
I'm excited for that too. So soroze korewa.
Like the what is it? You said free run? Free run, right?
Yes. Yes.
I'm like on episode 3, bro. I'm not even fronting with you. Yeah.
Oh my, are you really? Oh my God, I'm so excited for you, dog.
Dead serious, bro. Like I can't get past like like this is just this is just other stuff I'd rather be watching and reading, you know what I mean? Like
Okay, okay, so I'll do you this favor, right? This might help with your watch. Um, I mean, naturally, you already get the premise of Frarian, and you also understand, how it's supposed to be told. But if you have that itch that you want to scratch for a good fantasy story, but you don't wanna have to sit here and learn an entire, like, encyclopedia of a new world of Middle-earth, then watch Freyrein, because as a Lord of the Rings fan, I literally hold that as the pinnacle, the best of what fantasy has to offer. Um, it Freyrein gives you what you would have wanted from seeing a series about what happens in the world after the Lord of the Rings, ends. After the third one, after the Return of the King, and that final disc, you get to see everything that happens, how the world, how the characters that, were in the past, even new ones that come now. If you have an inkling for that type of thing, like you want to see what happens in a fantasy after the main story, go for Freyrein, and it will not disappoint.
it's funny. I'm not much of a Lord of the Rings fan, but I'm a Hobbit fan.
Wait, what? How
I
does that work?
I know. I don't know how it works either. I just remember watching Lord of the Rings and being like, "Dang, this is boring, yo." And then I jumped onto The Hobbit. I said, "Yo, this is fire, yo."
I mean, okay, okay. If we're speaking about because Lord of the Rings, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna keep it a band. It does have plenty of scenes that are paced very slowly or paced very like a drag, like it didn't really connect unless you were to actually go back and watch it and be like, oh, it has that Bleach effect where the rewatch value it goes up each time after you peep different stuff. But that's funny that you said you didn't really like Lord of the Rings, but you like The Hobbit.
Frodo, bro. Frodo is so annoying to me, dog.
You know what? I ain't even mad at that. I'm not even mad at that because you know how much I hate Colossal Mon. I hate Frodo just as much. So yeah.
Wait, hold on, hold on. You gotta tell people who Colossal Mom is.
Okay, okay, yeah. So there is, like me and Soul told y'all, we are also One Piece fans. There are certain characters that if I hate you well enough, I'm not going to even respect you enough to even say your name. I might call you a Timu version of that name. That's what I do. That's how much I hate them. And I hate Big Mom that much, bro. Oh my God. Just saying that name almost made me want to throw up. Oh my God. I hate her. I cannot stand her. This might yeah. Let me calm down because the end of this is gonna turn into a Colossal Mon hate video. I don't want that. I will show y'all a video on my reasoning to that later.
Yeah, we'll make a One Piece video soon, y'all. I promise you. Because we have a lot to say about One Piece, and it's just
Oh yeah.
it's not too like it's not too specific on anything. It's just kind of about everything and certain characters.
Mhm.
But I actually love Big Mom. I think she's so fine, bro.
Oh my God! Get off my phone, bro.
Prime Big Mom, bro. Prime
Oh,
Big
oh,
Mom is so fine, bro. I don't,
fine, bro. You're
bro.
trolling, bro. Get out of here.
She has a
Get
hold
out of
on me.
here.
I'm not gonna front,
You're cooked.
bro.
You're shocked, actually.
I would say free me to her, but we don't want that.
Nigga, you know what, bro? Like, yo, get out of here, bro.
Free me. Actually,
My
nah.
God.
Throw the key away. I'm good
Yo, that's
here.
crazy. That is diabolical.
Oh man.
Release me.
Yeah, release me. Actually, nah. I'm good here.
That's sick.
Prime Big Mom is so fine to me, bro.
Yeah, you're a sick individual.
Bro, I can't help it. It's
Yeah.
Big
Matter of
Mom,
fact, nah,
bro.
I'm about to send you to Arkham.
Bro, do you see her in her prime, bro? She's great,
Bro,
bro.
she's not in her prime. It's
Bro,
over.
bro,
It's
I'm
over,
talking
man.
about prime Big Mom, bro. You
Nah,
know,
nah,
like
nah.
Big Mama
We
back
not
then,
doing this.
bro.
Oh, I only like Super Saiyan 2 Gohan head out. Like, no, we not doing that, bro.
Yeah, we are,
Nah,
bro. Yeah, we are, bro.
nah, bro.
Can't wait to talk about One Piece. New gen anime. I really love My Hero Academia. But that's something that I'm gonna be doing reactions to. So when that comes out, you guys will see it. I'll let you guys know on how that goes. But until then, Big Mom, Prime Big Mom is best girl, and
Bozo, absolute trash, bottom barrel.
Hey man, y'all have a good night.
Yeah, man. All right, we got here.
I ruined his whole vibe.
Yo, get out of here, dog.
All right, y'all. Jana.